Brent, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Have you ever woken up on a Monday morning and realized you're just so not ready?
uh, yeah, I think that's part of being human, right? Like, just is it's part of the thing.
It's not like it's not going to be fun or anything like that, or the day's not going to be great, or everything's not going to be awesome, but you're just not ready. That's all I'm saying.
Just not ready. Well, I mean, here's the deal. On a positive note, knock on wood here, just for a
We
second,
like
but
positive notes.
on a positive note, um, for the past 51 years and change, I have woken up every morning, regardless of whether or not I've been ready. I have fallen asleep by the end of the day and have woken up the following morning.
I know
So,
it's amazing
like,
how that works.
even whether I was prepared or not,
Yeah,
those
just
things have happened. So there are a couple of known knowns that will continue to persist, at least as long as I'm here, and I'm just going to keep operating like I'm going to be here for a while.
you betcha. I'm on it. I am on it. You know what I forgot to do is I forgot to add my channels today.
Oh, let's see. Hey, you figured out how to do that the last time. Let's see if you can get that
Well,
going.
if I can do it while we've already gone live, that's the most
I think
interesting
you did
part.
it. I think you did it last time
I
while we
think
were
I
gone.
did. Yeah. Now I don't know if it actually ended up pushing it out. Maybe it did. I don't know. Here we go. It's preparing. I'm
There we go.
clicking it on, and boom, it's on. I'll leave. I got to connect it to my YouTube, but I'll do that
Yeah.
next time. Okay.
So
Anyhow,
here's interesting thing. And this is very, 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 very small sample size, but the most viewed version of our live uh, segments of these live things that we've done, the most viewed version is the one where we had the Nano Banana Magic thumbnail, and it's Nano Banana and Creating Complexity live with Brent and Mike. That had 29 views when it was streamed 6 days ago. Now, all of the other, with the exception of one other, actually, the AI Guilt one has 9 views. It was streamed 11 days ago. Those are the only two that we've done new cover art for, thumbnail art
oh,
for. So I mean, there's somebody out there who's like a YouTube master, who's probably like, yeah, well, duh, thumbnails matter. And the other ones are like, I don't understand why I might join these guys while they're talking about whatever the heck it is that they're talking about. But what this tells me is, just again, small sample size, always testing. I have got to update thumbnail art each of these things as we go back through it. But we've been doing this for a little bit of time. I mean, heck, we've surpassed the Brady Bunch 9 cubes, and
oh, 9 cubes. Yeah.
we have moved into 16, like 4x4 range, with the exception of this one sales success, or um, sales SOS thing that I do once a month as well. So anyway, I thought that was I think this is kind of interesting that,
It is.
hey, thumbnails count. If you didn't know, thumbnails matter.
Now let's see if we can we connect that to learning and development somehow? And I would just say that it's the just the effect of visuals matter. Good visuals that are descriptive, not just superfluous pictures to fill space, but imagery that is supportive of the message you're trying to send, or the learning objective you're trying to meet, or the business goal you're trying to achieve.
I'm going to show another view that I think reinforces that. If I go to my home, let me do it this way. If I go to videos, so pretty much every one of these, with the exception of some of the podcast ones, they all kind of look the same. So they all blend in. Like, I can't tell which one I need to go to, even though I've got different colors in there and I've got different words in there and I've got some other stuff. It all just kind of like, how do I know where to go? What's going to draw my attention? And this is a mistake that I think I've made when it comes to just kind of figuring the YouTube stuff out. Is if I go to this live view, the same one, I mean, these two pop out like I mean, you're it's it is much better. I almost said much more better. It is much better
It's
to
Momo
see.
better.
Yeah, it is much better to see like these two backgrounds pop much better than any of these backgrounds, even with the extra text language and kind of the weird looking faces that I make every once in a while throughout video and even like the podcast ones. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing that draws you in. So to the point, you think of Netflix um or your smart TV that you've got set up, or just about any other setting where they're trying to draw attention. There's only it's a short period of time that it's got you to click on the thing so that you go in there and watch the thing for an extended period of time. This is an area where I will get better in 2026. So, from a video perspective, this is an area where I'm going to focus on as we move into 2026. But it's really cool to see the contrast here. Like,
Yeah, and that was my question would be,
yeah,
is it the fact that people are going to your YouTube channel and seeing, and it's a user selection, or is the AI algorithm or the Google YouTube algorithm finding those, and is the algorithm tuned to grab that style of title image as something unique, and it has a better idea of what's there, and that's how it chooses to present it to people in that right hand column if they're searching for something similar, you know what I mean?
I do. It's interesting. I wouldn't even have thought that, hey, the algorithm would look for some kind of an image like this. Yeah, like I mean, and know and be able to distinguish between the two.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, but with the ability to be able to use AI to create them, you would think that AI also is able to discern
yeah.
value from them and has already put that into the algorithm. The other interesting thing, you mentioned Netflix. I remember reading an article a long time ago when Netflix first came out. Their algorithm, if you look at, if you notice the little thumbnails that come up in like the "you might like this movie" or whatever, the image of the actor or actress changes every time, and it's because you've watched that actor or actress in other movies when
Wow.
it decides to recommend it. So it doesn't recommend it and just put the standard movie cover art
Yeah.
there. It grabs like a known screenshot from that movie of that actor or actress as the thumbnail,
So here's
because
another.
they know it's the humans, that it's that human connection. If you see an actress or an actor that you've seen in other movies, you're more likely to click on that and watch that movie and continue watching, if you know it's somebody that you enjoy watching.
So here's another funny kind of side note. Historically, when I do these Marion Bright videos, now this is the first year that I've focused on doing them in a short. The we talked about this before, the 16:9 or
Yeah,
9:16 aspect ratio, right? So
yeah.
for vertical, deliberate, natively setting it up so that I'm doing them in this format. Um, Whenever I throw the cowboy hat on, my views go higher.
I was just gonna say, you look good in the cowboy hat, man.
I don't understand. I don't get it. But there we go. Throw the hat on, and all of a sudden, views.
it, The algorithm has dialed into the Rip from Yellowstone look. I
It's
think
it
so.
is
You've got that vibe about you.
it's it is one of those things where, like, I mean, it reinforces, like, and we talk about this, whether we're talking about AI, we're talking about learning, we're talking about growth, we're talking about business, whatever the thing, it's an iterative process.
Mhm.
And as you iterate on that process, performance starts to improve ideally. And Brent, let's go to your training or learning training and technology.
Training is an event, learning is a process, technology supports them both, and performance improvement is our ultimate goal.
Ultimate goal. So if we're not working toward improving performance as we're going through this, or the thing that we're putting together is not actually contributing to performance improvement, you got to ask yourself that question. You're like, what are we doing? And if somebody, and here's the one of the things I get a lot of, I hear a lot of questions around. Like this one will typically come up in conversation is, okay, so I work with a leader, and this could be learning and development, this could be operations, it works in all of those areas. Like there's consistency here. I work for a leader who has unrealistic expectations around how long it takes to do certain things, and just comes in and says, I've got this thing, I need you to get it done, go get it done. And how do I push back? How do I actually push back in that conversation? Because they're the leader. And one of the challenges that we have, especially when you're younger in roles, is you think, well, the leader has already thought through all of the things that you're already working on, and they know all of the things. They've already gone through the process of figuring out that, what I understand, I know everything you're working on. This is now the priority, and that's where I need you to put attention to. Here's the dirty secret: they don't. They have no freaking idea. In a lot of cases, they probably don't even know what they're working on. So the when you go in and that request comes in, just ask this simple question: how does this align with whatever the main objectives are that you've agreed to as a business or as a company or as a whatever, or as a team, in the month, the quarter, or the year, however you structured that? Just ask that question: how does it align? And then ask the follow-up question once they're able to answer it. um, what would you like me to deprioritize? What would you like me to push down on my list of things to do so that I can get this thing taken on? And those questions are really good to that conversation is really good to have with folks inside the business, because now you're starting to apply executive function and critical thinking to the work that you're doing, which kind of goes back to the discussion we had last week around the importance of business acumen and some of the gaps that exist out there. It's like, how and why does this align with what we're ultimately trying to accomplish? um Brent, you're going to keep me on track. You got the news on here. I'm gonna I'm gonna share a couple of comments while you're doing it. We've got Craig and Wendy in the show again, and Craig agrees. Thumbnails do work, and uh, had much more traffic when doing the updates. And then Wendy's question, thanks, Craig. Wendy's question: are you posting these to LinkedIn or embedding on your YouTube on LinkedIn? Yep. We're gonna we're doing it in a couple of different places. So I'm pushing live on YouTube and on LinkedIn each day. Those are the only two places that I'm pushing live. Brent has tested Facebook. Actually, Brent, why don't you share what you've tested?
Yeah, well, I've pushed it to Facebook and to LinkedIn. I don't like really using my Facebook for work. And so I tried to push it to my business page or my professional persona page, and for some reason it wouldn't let me do it. I have to like pay for a business account or something like that. It'll only push to my regular profile. So I turned off pushing it to Facebook. And yeah, so I just do LinkedIn right now, and I'm going to set up pushing it to YouTube soon. But one thing I did think about was, if I'm pushing the live stream, there's the event, then the event page that allows comments. If I share that, that makes a post. If I also take the YouTube and share it in a link. That makes another version of it, which is great. But then it might get confusing to people watching, like which one do I comment on or which one should I use or whatever. And I don't know. I'm certain I'm overthinking it, and probably more is probably better. But I did notice that on one of our episodes, I had multiple versions, multiple posts discussing different things about one of our episodes. I think it was the AI, the Nano Banana one, just because it was such a good episode.
Yep.
And then that's when I started thinking maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit, and people are like, "Hey, I already saw a post about this. Why am I seeing another one?" Or maybe they're not, or maybe the algorithm like drops you down if you post a similar thing too many times. That they think of it as spam or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but something to think about. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of been my thinking about that so far. But we're just going to keep trying, and we're just going to keep doing it. I just appreciate all the comments, Wendy and Craig. I just appreciate you guys hanging out with us and making us a part of your Monday morning. Yeah. I don't know if you got here earlier, if you missed it, but yeah, it's Monday. Anyhow, all right, let's get to the timeline, the headlines. And I just like to get on my my anchor voice. So breaking news. Latest news and trending topics in learning and development for today, Monday, December 8th, 2025, covering the major headlines from the first week of December. Top headlines: Mind Tools and Kineo brand unification. New data links training to retention, and learning pools end-to-end ecosystem. Technology and product launches. Thrive's winter release. 5-app updates Helix platform. I wonder if they call that SAP. I don't know. Cipher partners with My Team Builder. These are vendor names that
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with. So might be worth looking at. Industry trends and reports. Fosway Group's HR realities research. I do know Fosway, a fantastic group, by the way, in the UK, doing some good research stuff. The skills-based shift continues. Yes, it does. AI adoption happening in silence. Ooh, that'd be interesting to hear. A concerning trend identified in recent survey shows that while nearly 2/3 of U.S. workers are encouraged to use AI, a third receive no formal training. What? Only a third? I'm going to go with, boy, is that low. This has led to shadow AI use where employees adopt tools without governance or security training. Boy, can I go off on that one. I actually did yesterday. I was chilling on the couch and I opened up the notes app and started writing a LinkedIn post because that sort of exact thought crossed my mind. Historically, I was trying to connect it to this kind of thing that's happening in AI with what's going on there. Oh, a request to scroll back for the learning pool. You betcha. Let's check it out. Let's see. Learning pools end-to-end ecosystem. There you go. Here, I'll even get, you can, if you want to read more about it. Oh, yeah, we'll hit up the learning pool site. Learning news is the other one. So these are the sources. Learning news. Learning pool unveils industry's first truly end-to-end learning ecosystem.
It's always it's amazing when these first and best. It's like the that scene in Elf. Congratulations, you did it. World's best cup of coffee. Like
we just watched that not last night, but the night before. For this holiday season, the first of probably 5 times that we'll watch it, but who's counting? Yeah, it's so funny. It's marketing, right? It's lazy marketing and lazy journalism.
end-to-end ecosystem. So what do
Yeah,
you
what
think
exactly does that mean?
what do
I'm
you
sure
think an
Learning Pool's
end-to-end
website will tell us all
ecosystem,
about it, but
like cradle to grave ecosystem for learning?
well, it's following their acquisitions of Elucidat and WorkRamp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they bought a bunch of companies that filled in the gaps
Now they're kind of working
of
together.
feature sets that their current tool set did not have, which is pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
I agree.
by the way, this is going to be happening like crazy in 2026. So there are boatloads of these types of acquisitions that have occurred this year that have not been announced. That like this one will get announced, or that's been quietly announced, hasn't been talked about, whatever. But you'll start to hear about them in 2026, but they've all been in the works already all throughout 2025. It takes a while to get that stuff done. Sometimes not a super long time, but yeah, conversations always start, and there are a lot of conversations going on. So, we'll see where that leads, because ecosystem and what are they talking about? Yes, we um, hit up their website if you guys don't mind. If you're interested in that, Wendy, hit up that Learning Pool website and read that a little bit and see what you find. While I cruise through and just make sure we hit all the rest of these, so at least we can make a choice here. So CLO, I think this is where I was. AI adoption happening in silence. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, but I'll come back to that. CLO 100 Learning Leaders Forum. This recently concluded event in London is making waves for its focus on strategic collaboration among chief learning officers. The consensus from the forum is that L&D leaders must, I love that. Actually, I don't. It's my pet peeve, but must transition from content creators to strategic business partners. Okay. Training journals sounds like AI phrasing. Yes. I think it all is. Training Journal's 60th anniversary. The publication celebrated its diamond anniversary with editors and sessions reflecting on the evolution of L&D from training delivery to performance enablement. There's that magic word, enablement. Next step, would you like me to dig deeper into the Mind Tools Kineo merger or provide a summary of the Fossway Group's research findings? Well, you know what we could do that we haven't done before? Let's ask AI to dig deeper into Learning Pool's end-to-end ecosystem.
Perfect.
More about Learning Pool's understanding of a learning ecosystem. Ooh, you know what I'm going to come up with? I'm going to come up with some Gemini is thinking music.
There you go. I think that's a good thing.
Every time we do this, because I put it on thinking. I probably should have clicked fast so it just popped it up, but I like the thinking one because you can click this little drop down when it's done and it'll explain to you exactly how it thought through its process. So
what we're looking for is kind of like Jeopardy music.
yeah,
Jeopardy music applied in here.
but with like a Gemini style,
There we
a
go.
different vibe to it. Gemini is thinking. Maybe we even get a little sing-songy voice going. Okay, based on their major announcements from late 2025, Learning Pool defines a learning ecosystem not as a single software tool, but as a unified infrastructure that breaks down the traditional silos between content creation, delivery, and performance measurement.
I love sales and marketing. Oh my god, this is like, and just the fact that we're going to be able to break down the silos, right? Like that was it. We're breaking down the silos.
Yeah, they fundamentally. Oh, here we go. They fundamentally reject the idea that a standalone LMS is sufficient for modern organizations.
Hmm.
Instead, they position their ecosystem as an end-to-end solution where data and content flow seamlessly between specialized components.
It's kind of sounds like a learning experience platform. So Wendy asked, what platform are we using to present? To currently, we're using Restream, and we've been using Restream since launching this a couple of weeks back. We're planning, or we're looking at a couple of different ways to create a better experience that kind of goes across multiple platforms and has this live interaction. Because at this point in time, the only time that people see the comments are when I click hide or unhide or share on my side, and so we're looking at a couple of different pieces of technology. But right now, Wendy, what we're using is Restream, and it has some good things to it. And we'll share those as we go along. One of the questions I've got for people, just let us know in the comments. Do you use Slack? Is Slack a piece of technology that you use either daily or as part of your workflow? Yes or no? Do you use Slack? Yes, I
And
use Slack in the
we'll have
comments.
to wait at least 2 minutes for those answers to come in because
It's,
that's one of the reasons why we'd like to choose another platform.
so that we don't have a hold music across the board, like especially on a Monday morning when the synapses are just not synapsing.
Yeah, and we did have this idea too of potentially having some sort of back channel, so maybe Slack, where the conversations could occur in Slack while we're live streaming on Restream, which is totally doable. It's I've done similar things in the past, but you have to have a cohort of regulars that show up, that hang out with you, that understand that that's what happens. Um, and we could probably, once we start to define a little bit more of the flow of what we do every morning, one of the things in our intro could be, hey, and if you want to join the real time conversation, the back channel, whatever we decide to call it, join our Slack group, that kind of thing. And then we share a link, right? And then so we could just make that announcement, and then we could just reference it every now and then. But we can't add those comments like the way Mike's able to do it here live. So there's a lot of different ways to do what we are doing, and gaining one function that we're really excited about, typically we lose a couple other functions along the way. So it's just a matter of weighing out what it is that we're trying to do. I originally got into doing this kind of thing and doing communities, online communities, with a platform. Well, it was social media back in the day. It wasn't even, they just called it social, right? It was like build your own Facebook. And so there were tools like Ning. Do you remember Ning, Mike?
I don't.
Ning.com was one of the very first, like, build your own um, Facebook style community group platform where it had a text based forum in it. You could post to it. You could share pictures with your little group, and it was all you and the people you bring to it and whatnot. Well, the woman that started that way back in the day ended up selling it off. A few years later, she created Mighty Networks. So
Oh,
if you did
okay.
not know that she's
Hmm.
the woman that started Mighty Networks, is the founder of Ning. Yeah, she didn't just randomly decide to start doing this. She's been in this space for a long time, and she gets it, which is one of the reasons why I used Mighty Networks from the get go. I know other people use Circle. School is another new one that's out there. SKOOL. That one's really interesting. It's still relatively new. I'm not sure if it's as feature rich, but it's cool. Um, um, all the pricing for all of them are typically the same. But anyways, where I'm getting to, sorry, I'm rambling. I need another cup of coffee. Um, is that so? Now there's, over this time, there's built up a large hey, communities are a good thing. So now basically everybody has a community. Every company has its community. And if they don't, they should, but they do. And so now there's an industry, like there's the e-learning guild for e-learning people and instructional designers. There's ATD, there's all that kind of stuff. Well, community managers, community builders, community facilitators, whatever you want to call them. Um, oh yes, Wendy, we can talk about that. Um, uh, you know, now there's these groups you can join. So I started joining a bunch of those once I kind of found out about it through a random conversation with somebody else who does communities. And what I discovered then was, because I didn't think of Slack and Discord and all of those like groups as communities, but that's like the major space where community type stuff is happening.
Right.
So Slack, Teams, Discord, all that kind of stuff. I did kind of my own little poll, just ask. I said, "Hey, I keep hearing about people using Slack and Discord and all this kind of stuff. Are are any of you doing communities in actual platforms?" And there were some,
Mm.
but the majority of folks were just using the other tools, and everybody was pushing me towards this, that, or the other tool, obviously. But I think at the end of the day, like our learning stuff that we do, it depends on your community, right? If you've got a super high tech young gaming style community, Discord might be the best thing for you because they are already all in it. Slack for another group of folks who have already been embedded in Slack, it's great. If you're doing a bunch of corporate people, maybe a Teams channel is good or better for them. But I don't know.
So
I
the tool I used that I loved way back in the day. Do you remember Trillion?
What was it called?
Trillion.
Oh,
Anybody remember Trillion? This is going to show our age as a group.
I remember the name, but I'm not too sure.
So Trillion was kind of like, was one of these tools where you could combine Yahoo Instant Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger, and a couple of other whatever other I forget all the instant message things that we're using at that point in time, and you could view all of them inside in that same pane.
Ooh, that would be
So the there's it's interesting how each of these companies will roll out the or catch up with each other relative to from a capability standpoint. So
yeah, sooner or
we'll
later.
we'll talk about like table stakes. It'll be like the first or the best or the only or whatever one, and that's short. I think the key, and it gets into the same technology conversations that we all have inside our businesses, is like, okay, what tool does the tool fit the purpose, and what are you willing to trade off or trade on for different experiences?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why Slack is really big for me from a workflow perspective. It helps me keep things organized, just based on some of the systems and stuff that I've got in
Mhm.
place. One of the things that I like about it, and why I think that's one that we're going to try to test. It's good. We went 2 for 2 on our on Wendy and Craig both being in the Slack ecosystem, and I know Brent, you're in there because we've
I
got
have to
a
turn
couple
my
of channels
notifications on, just
that,
like
that
Wendy.
go.
I've got it muted right now too.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you can do is you can have we could have a separate channel for each one of these conversations, and then have the conversation back and forth kind of persist for each of the daily ones, and then have that. So I think there's some things that we could do from an experience standpoint. The key piece is this integration. So, like, what would be cool? It would be awesome if, and these are a couple of the questions that I ask people when we're trying to figure out where to focus time and attention. Answer these 2 questions. It would be awesome if dot dot dot, or it sucks that dot dot dot. Either one of those. Like, let's just answer those questions, and you can kind of figure out, hey, where do we need to focus time and attention on solving things? It would be awesome if we could have some kind of like Zapier or some other kind of integration that would bring Slack messages into Restream, or what was the one that you guys Crowdcast, whatever
Yeah,
the tool is. We could
right. And I think I remember going through and figuring this, like on the back end, technology wise, why that's not feasible, and what's actually causing the delay is a fundamental issue with the tech. And so you either have to have the chat fully embedded in the platform and everybody's in it, like the way Crowdcast does it, which is why it's instantaneous, or you get the delay. And there's nothing, there's really just nothing you can do about it, because it takes the multiple servers to start pushing. So when our stream, it's not the sending of the comments that's the delay. It's the delay of the stream hitting the location, that, and then they see it. So you and I are talking right now in real time, and we're seeing this.
Yeah.
It's actually probably 30 seconds, 45 seconds, minute and a half before Craig and Wendy are seeing it and hearing what we're saying. So, and then they comment, and so that adds more time to it, and then it does take more time for it to get back to us, and it drops it in at the same time code as when they saw it, and so it takes more time to get it in, and just it's weird.
So
Um,
so when things happen in real time, they're not in real time. They're like
Pretty
somebody
much, yeah,
else's
real
time.
real time, but non-real time. Real time for them, but not for us, because in the stream they're watching, they're probably seeing each other's comments. In if they're both watching it on YouTube, for example, they're probably seeing each other's comments almost instantaneously. But those of us that like hear that text, if you and I had a separate window open of the YouTube stream and we knew everybody was just going to be in that stream, I think we would be fine. But we're waiting for that communication to come back from there and get sent back to us. So, and maybe that's the solution. I don't know. But obviously, it looks like they're both in LinkedIn because it has the little LinkedIn icon. So,
But
I don't
they're
know.
seeing it. They're seeing it. It's kind of interesting. They're seeing it in. So this again, working out loud as we're kind of sharing and kind of figuring out some of the tech and tool and the job to be done of what the tech is. Um, I just shared show on stream all of the comments. So now those are showing up on the comments, and I think everybody can scroll through those. I can't
Yeah.
scroll through them on my end based on the way that I'm looking,
Yeah. I can't
the way
either.
that I'm looking at them. But the other yeah, so Wendy can't see Craig's comments,
Oh,
and Craig can't see Wendy's comments yet. What's awesome is they're both on LinkedIn. They're just in different streams. So Wendy
well,
might be
they
in
might
your
be, one
stream,
might be looking at mine. Yeah. And he might be looking at yours.
right. And so this is that whole piece where you start thinking about, hey, how do you support, because really what we're trying to do is we're trying to support an interactive community in the area where people want to consume the content in the
Right.
time and space of how they want to consume the content, so they've got that experience. And right now we've got a couple of people in LinkedIn who are like in two different rooms in LinkedIn
Yeah.
watching the same thing on the
I
screen.
think it's almost too many choices, right? Like I
Yeah,
think it falls back on that whole concept of if you give people too many choices, you end up not getting anybody and not getting any of the solutions that you want. Again, it's one of the reasons why everybody. So the thing people hate the most about Crowdcast when they use it from a user perspective
yep.
is you have to sign in.
Never
You
happened.
you you right. You have to have an account. You have to have a Crowdcast account. So if you see it's being streamed out to YouTube or whatever, and you're like, "Ooh, I want to go participate in the actual Crowdcast and not just watch the stream," then they get there and they're like, "Oh man, I don't want to create another account," and blah blah blah, and they blow it off. But I don't know. Account creation is so much faster these days with passkey and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that's not so much of a big deal anymore. But we still grew idiotic there pretty big. And before that, my other live streams, a lot of people would end up showing up. They didn't
Yeah.
like it, but if that's the only option they have to engage, then they take it. So, anyways, and Craig, I think, yeah, that was the other thing. Sharing images in the chat, allowing other people to drop in temporarily, and the real time chat Crowdcast was great at that. I don't know if it allowed you to drop in images They maybe have upgraded now.
He's
It's been
looking
a
at
while.
he's talking. It was back to TweetDeck. So back when we were talking about Trillion
Oh,
and some of
yeah.
those platforms, and that was one of those things that kind of
Yeah,
popped
yeah,
up in
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So
TweetDeck was fantastic. It was awesome, you know? So if there was a tool, maybe TweetDeck is still the one. I don't know. Was it HubSpot or it does mostly marketing stuff. Anyways, I don't know. We digress way beyond our
this is
normal conversation, but it's Monday and we're delirious.
it
So
is
everyone's
Monday,
just
and we
got to
are
be fun.
delirious. All right, so
Yeah.
we went through. We covered some pretty interesting things. It was good to see the ecosystem stuff, and it's and the reason why I say it's good to see the ecosystem stuff is it reminds me again of that whole Marie Antoinette quote. There's nothing new except what has been forgotten, and even at DevLearn, you had someone say that like the future was mobile learning, or actually they didn't say it that way, but it was like the future is on this. If we could just deliver the learning in this area, then everything would be good. And the
And they're
future is
not wrong. They're totally not wrong. It just feels a decade late or so.
every once in a while everybody catches up.
Yes, it's totally. And by the way, we're giggling at all this kind of stuff. For anybody who feels like we may be bashing or, in otherwise being negative towards Learning Pool, totally not. The Learning Pool people are fantastic. Tools they have are awesome. We are giggling at the way business works and just the words that marketing uses, and it's not wrong, it just is. And it's just funny once you see behind the curtain. That's all we're laughing at, is the reality of the world we're in, looking behind the curtain. That's all.
Craig
Learning
says the
Pool,
future.
you guys are great.
Craig says the future is gamification, LMS, AI training. Actually, what it is, it just depends on if that's part of your learning style. Like if it fits your learning style, then it might be the future. I'm going to try to figure out fit in learning styles in every one of these.
So I know. And so this is funny. I do take notes of all of these little things when they come up, and we laugh about them, and I write them down, and I keep telling I'm like, ooh, this is one I'm going to squeeze into the course I'm going to teach on spinning people up on understanding the industry. And maybe what I should call it, or I should have a section of the course called, like understanding the inside jokes of L&D or something like that. The things they're laughing at that you don't understand.
I think that is one of those things. Like it's the hidden language, right?
Yeah,
Like
there you go.
there's
Oh,
a
I like
there
that. I'm gonna write that
one
down.
of the questions that I can ask, or things that I can say out loud at just about any event, again, whether it's learning or ops or these other ones, um is how long have we been asking about the seat at the table?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And like this is Craig. Craig is Craig. I think we've worn out our welcome with Craig. He's sighing at us. Delayed sigh. So I'm sure it was a learning style related thing. But
I'm sorry, Craig.
there's this there's this there are these things that continue to persist, and if you know what those things are that continue to persist, and you ask the question in that room, you start to create this feeling of one of us. Like, hey, this person knows, they kind of get there, they've been there, they understand it. And like everybody in every role, I don't care what role you're in, you're trying to solve some kind of problem. Like there is something that's going to happen in your workplace today where you're like, didn't see that coming, and now I got to take care of that, and I'm just gonna, because everything doesn't just go to the plan. I mean, that's the beauty of Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. I think
No,
I
it's
hit
the
on all
beauty
the
of
days.
going live every single morning, because now tomorrow morning, when we're much more clear headed. We're going to remember how Monday was, and we're going to be like, you know what? We're going to make Tuesday better.
Dude, I had this whole idea of sharing all of the stuff that I did with the Notebook LM around deep communication research, and we're 44 minutes and 14 seconds into this thing and didn't even touch that. So
How come you didn't shut me up? How come you didn't turn me off? Dang it.
Right, this is just kind of how we do it and how we roll with it, and I think that's the other piece. It's like, if any question comes up, just ask the question and we'll figure out, hey, does it fit today or do we make it fit tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because
I keep wanting to talk about the color, the Pantone color of the year, because that's an important topic every single year. And it's an interesting color this year. And I keep forgetting to drop that in. So we'll save that for tomorrow.
The color of what?
You don't follow that?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
It's super fun. All right, then we're doing it.
All right, there we go. I almost dropped an F-bomb. That was close.
No, you don't know what the Pantone color of the year is. It is an event that designers wait for and wait for and wait for. Oh, it's just a beautiful thing. Here we go. I have to share my screen.
Dun, dun, dun. I like the Christmas background. The winter background. You got a little holiday theme.
I did do the holiday theme. I was hanging out with Shannon Tipton's Learning Rebels group, and they were having a holiday party at her last meetup on Friday. And so I quickly threw the background image into Gemini, into the Nano Banana, and I said, "Quick, make this holiday-ish." and this is what it did. So I'm like, sweet.
We've got Roadrunner holiday stuff. All right. Hi, Brent.
Pantone is a color standard. Yes.
You're sharing your Gemini view. It says hi,
yes.
Brent.
Hi, Brent. There we go.
Oh.
So Pantone has numbers for their colors, and they pick a color every year and they call it the color of the year. And they have a reasoning for it and all that kind of stuff, and then they show how it goes. How can you use it in your designs? And it shows you some cool color palettes using the color and things like that.
They've already identified color of the year for 2026.
Yep.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, they don't go on like historic white
or
anything.
Tell me that's not the perfect 2026 thing. There's going to be a
It's like normally it's not really vibrant, but normally it's an actual color. And when I saw somebody post it the first time, I only saw like the top part of the post, and I thought their image wasn't showing up. And so I just scrolled past it because it just kind of was this pale background color, and I just went right past it. I'm like, oh, it's not showing up, so I don't know what the color is.
I'm already ahead of
somebody else do it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is the color.
If anybody wants to see the color of the year,
let's see. Oh, Martha Stewart actually has an article about it. House Beautiful, Modern Salon, Design Boom. I don't know, which place should we go to actually see the color? Because I'm sure everybody wants to see the color.
Yeah, create an image of the color. Ask Gemini. Come on, create.
Yeah, duh.
Come on. Let's use the tools.
Let's use the tools we have.
Oh, look at this.
There. Yeah. Create an image using the color of the year. It's thinking.
Do, 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 do,
oh, I gotta make the thinking music.
All right. Hey, while this is coming up, Brent, where can people find you?
LinkedIn. Right here, right where you're watching us. It's the best place. Hang out with us. Hang out with me. Shoot me a DM. If we're not first connections, connect with me and say hello.
Awesome. And you can find me at the same place. Find me out there on LinkedIn. And if we are not connected, say hello. Look at that. How is it?
It's a lofty white.
It is a lofty white. One of my dogs would blend in, like
and just
he'd be like
disappear.
camouflage. Like Chris would just kind of disappear into that color.
Yeah, mine
Um,
would disappear completely into that. Yeah. Well, at least after a good fluff and buff at the groomer. But yeah, typically as each day goes by, he gets a darker and darker tan, and then he comes back from the groomer. It's like, whoa, did you dye him or something? And like, no, he was just filthy.
all right,
We say thank you very much. But yeah,
we
that's our
doing
pick
this?
for the day.
We doing
Check
this
it
again
out.
tomorrow?
We are going to do this tomorrow.
All right,
It's
same bad
until
time, same
yeah.
bad channel. Follow Brent on LinkedIn. Check out the course that he's opened up, a little beta version of the course. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, I'm going to be posting a link about it today, and I would love for folks to join me for the beta. I am charging because I still think it's going to be exceptional value, but it'll be an extreme discount from what I'll be charging to take it in 2026. But I want some feedback, and it's the final version is going to be over a couple days. I'm shrinking the course down to just a 1 4-hour session for the initial pilot to run through it. And it may end up staying like that. I don't know. But the original idea was 2 4-hour days back to back. So
I think we get into and we'll add this into maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday kind of discussion because I know we've got some things that we'll want to talk about tomorrow. But like, what is value? And yeah, how do people perceive value? And how often is value associated with the amount of time spent, but we lose track of the cost of that time being spent?
yep. And
I know
Wendy,
we
we
want
are
to
seeing
go.
your comments, but that is a fantastic. Yeah, it is definitely something to talk about. And I'll tell you, this will be a good test because I've never really done anything like this before, to be perfectly honest. I've done workshops for companies, then they market it. I've done webinars for companies and they've marketed it. I've never done my own. So it's a little scary. But I'm just going to put it out there and just see. I'm going to do a lot of outreach today. And if anybody's watching this and they want to participate, hit me up in the DMs. And if you've got a little extra budget, sign up your team. There
Can
you
you
go.
figure out a way to get Pantone in your the Pantone color of the year into
Oh,
your
I'm going to make the
market stuff?
color of the year all over my slides for
There you go.
sure. Yeah,
Let's go. All right,
because
Brian. Always
it's a
good.
lofty white.
Brian, always good to see you.
Good to see you too, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow. Later.